Hello, good morning. And you are welcome to Mining for the Truth. Of course, it refers to the process of digging to discover the undiluted doctrines of Christ. My name is Joseph Atta. I attend Church of Christ. I thank all my viewers, my listeners, my commentators for making the time to join me, or even later. And thank you so much for all that you have been doing. I thank Eric, Kweche, Daku, Mr. Michelle Lee, and all those in Ghana and the world who have been patronizing the page. Yes, some have been liking, some have been following. So I will encourage that more will like and then will share. Yeah, you can share the videos to your various platforms. Of course, I am not here to condemn in my own view. My duty is to share the word of God. And as a young evangelist, I say and I do what the Spirit commands. That's all. So it is not a personal attack to anybody. Maybe you might think that way, but then it is not so. Previously, we began with, topic is living for Jesus. Theme, the Beatitudes. And I said that the Beatitudes are from Matthew 5, verse 3 to 10. So we have 8 episodes there. But I promised to tweet up to episode 10. So I'm done with the episode 8 last week. And I said I was going to go to work. So unless Saturday, I'm here today to be with you. Of course, I will tweet episode 9. Tomorrow, God's willing, I won't come here. I'll meet you again on Monday. Monday is holiday, so I'll be home. So Monday, I'll come and then finish the episode 10. Now, the reason being for my absence tomorrow is that I have an assignment to send. I have to type and send some assignment. And tomorrow too, I'm beginning a different course in my program. So tomorrow will be the orientation. So tomorrow I have more to do. I have to join a live orientation to the second phase of the course that I'm going to start. Yeah. And as I'm saying, I have to even submit assignment today up to 3 a.m. I must submit it before I can join the orientation. I am also writing on gender equality. Galatians 3 verse 8. That one, I won't treat it here. It will be a text. And normally I share it on my different platform, Techno-Utopian. 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 It's a platform where I write God's word. It could be everything or anything. Then I put them there or I paste them there. So I'm also working on that, the gender equality. Whether a man and woman are equal or not. That be people have been contemplating. That man and woman, so and so. I'll use the Bible to prove whether it is true or not. So tomorrow, now I have more to do. And from this teachings, when I end, they have to go and start my assignment. As I said, by 3 a.m., being Sunday, I must submit it. And then join the orientation for the new course between 8 to somewhere 10 a.m. Live orientation, I have to join. Before you continue to the second phase or the next phase, you have to join an orientation where professors and then doctors, they will speak a lot concerning what you are going to do or what you'll be needed to do in the course. It is not easy. So man is tight. I don't have time. So as I said, today and then Monday, because it's a holiday, tomorrow I won't come to you. Now enough of that. Last time we read something from Matthew 5 verse 10. That was the the 8th episode, it is saying that blessed are those who are persecuted for righteousness' sake. I think we dealt with it, justice. We did it so nicely, and I spoke for long, about 2 hours. Now today we're going to the episode 9. You are the salt of the earth. So go to Matthew 5 verse 13. Matthew 5 verse 13. You are the salt of the earth, but if the salt has lost its flavor, how will it be salted? It is no longer good for anything except to be cast out and trampled underfoot by men. You are the salt of the earth. In fact, the salt and light are very important to Christian living. You are the salt of the earth. You are the light of the world. And you're going to hear a lot today. So by introduction, we say that in the 8 Beatitudes, Jesus has revealed 8 facets. Now, when we say facet, we mean distinctive features. Okay, we mean, also I'm saying that living for Christ or living for Jesus. So here we say that in the 8 Beatitudes, Jesus has revealed 8 facets, and we're saying that a facet is a distinctive feature, characteristic, something which is so unique and different of Christian character. So we're saying that Jesus has revealed 8 facets of Christian character. True Christians are humble. We're trying to recap the Matthew 5 verse 3 to 10. So Christians are humble. They are sorry. Now the sorry there means penitent. So Christians are humble. They are penitent. And when we say penitent, we mean someone who has felt remorseful for a sin committed, or someone who has regretted. So penitent means a feeling or expression of remorse, or expressing remorse or repentance for misdeeds. That is immoral behavior. And when we say immoral, we mean deliberately violating accepted principles. When we say something is immoral, we mean you have decided to go against. So deliberately violating accepted principles of right and wrong. Deliberately violating. So this is what you must know. So penitent is a repentance, basically of misdeeds. That is immoral. So repenting from something that you have done, being so wrong, is the meaning of a penitent. So Christians are humble. They are sorry or penitent for their sins, gentle in spirit, eager to be right with God, merciful, pure in heart, peacemakers, and faithful under persecution. So this summarizes the first to 8 Beatitudes. Once again, penitent. Now the word sorry is different from repentance. Now, someone can be sorry and continuously do the same thing. And even I've been saying that saying sorry changes nothing. Sometimes it is more annoying for you to intentionally do something without calculating. Then later you use that you are sorry. It is so boring. I say it to be deliberate, and that's what immoral behavior is referring to. Deliberately violating accepted principles of right and wrong. So you deliberately do it, and later you use the word sorry to apologize. Even myself, I don't accept it. No matter how you do it, there's no way I will accept it. You must calculate before behaving. It is very important because as Christians, we ought to mature. As a Christian, you must grow and don't be comfortable always saying sorry. Now, if you want to grow, then it means you're trying to be reluctant to say that you are sorry. Means that you're going to act to do the right thing. Once you start something, try to calculate the middle and the end to know the outcome. When it will lead to saying I'm sorry, then you stop it. All right. Now, having shown us who and what we are, Jesus uses salt as an analogy to depict our function and purpose in the earth. So even the first thing for you to know is that by being salt, it means our function and purpose on the earth or in the earth. That's all. So even if I don't go afar, at least you have seen that by being a salt, you are to function and then live purposely. When we say to function, we mean to effect a change. And the purpose means you must leave a legacy. So Jesus uses salt as an analogy to depict our function and purpose in the world. That's all. He says, you are the salt of the earth. So that one is Matthew 5 verse 13a. The reputation of the gospel depends on you. The reputation of the gospel. Now go to 2 Corinthians 3 verse 2. Why am I saying that the reputation of the gospel depends on you? 2 Corinthians 3 verse 2. Today you're going to hear a lot. Yeah, 3 verse 2. You are our letter, written in our hearts, known and read by all men. You are our letter, written in our hearts, known and read by all men. Known and read by all men. So that's why we're saying that the reputation of the gospel depends on you, because the world judges Christianity by what it sees in you. The world, we mean the Antichrist, or those who don't believe. People who do not attend Church of Christ. They see the gospel by your behavior. Now, when we say reputation, we mean image. So if you do something wrong, you have tarnished the image of Christianity. And of course, the highest disrespect goes to Christ, or goes to Christ. That's why we are using the word reputation, image, redeemed image. So the reputation of the gospel depends on you, because the world judges Christianity by what it sees in you. So we're saying that by reading 2 Corinthians 3 verse 2, we say the family is the first address of a person. Simple. Sometimes I have been given assignments on how to paraphrase Bible quotations. So by paraphrasing, we're saying that family is the first address of a person. Even first impression will tell a lot. We don't care who you are. If you dress indecently, the first thing they will say is that you don't come from a disciplined home. This doesn't matter because it was a party, so you have to wear your party dress. The interest is that they see you as indecent. The first impression shows that you are indecent. So no matter how good you are in Christianity, the world has seen you to be indecent. When will you go there to redeem your image? You have officially destroyed your reputation, and when they know where you are coming from, your family's image will be tarnished, your church, and then the whole will go to Christ. So we're saying that you must never be tasteless as salt of the earth. Now, when you read 2 Corinthians 3 verse 2, it is saying that you are our letter. Now, some will say you are the epistle. Some will say letter. I mean, some Bibles will say epistle. Some Bibles will say letter. Whether letter or epistle. Now, the Greek word is epistole. Epistole. So, the word either letter or epistle in 2 Corinthians 3 verse 2, the Greek is called epistole. Epistole. Now, epistole means written letter. That's all. Written letter. All right. Now, in the Greek New Testament, the personal pronoun you is in the emphatic position, which means that Jesus was saying to his followers, you and you alone are the salt of the earth. Let me tell you something here, that here Christ was making emphasis to the apostles, though he was speaking to the crowd, okay, but he also made emphasis on the apostles, same as you are the light of the world. He also placed emphasis on the, because he was going to leave them. And remember, he had trained them. When we say an apostle or a disciple, you mean you are an apprentice. An apprentice learns after a master craftsman. So Christ knew he was going, and he had to have some delegates. So he specially trained them. That's why he had to fulfill them with the Holy Spirit, so they could do signs and wonders. No apostle exists today. So if you call yourself an apostle, you are an antichrist. No, there are no more apostles. I mean, there are qualifications of being an apostle, and we have none. That's why the Bible is saying that all the prophecies were until John. Now, when John died, then all the prophecies ceased. Speaking in tongues and others, they all ceased when John the Revelator died. So you are wasting your time by debating that we still have apostles. Satan is using you, my friend. No matter how you justify yourself. I said you are wrong. And in the Bible, wrong is wrong. We don't care whether the multitude is supporting. Wrong is wrong. When you live in that, you die, and at the end, you go to hell. So sit down there and then debate. But on the day of when you are judged, you will record that someone said this to you when you had the strength. Now let's go to the synopsis and then the objectives of the studies. One, what is salt? Or A, what is salt? B, what does you are the salt of the earth mean? What does you are the salt of the earth mean? Then point 3, to comprehend the corruption in the world. And the last one, to recognize that we can lose our saltiness. So that wasting time, you go to A. What is salt? I'll give you 4 definitions of salt. What is salt? 1, it is precious. 1. So we are on A. What is salt? And under the A, we have 1. So 1. What salt is precious. A. What is salt? A. 1. We think that salt is, so 1, it is precious. Now, in the modern world, salt is readily available, and we take it for granted. Yes, I'll tell you some short story. I remember when I was a child, my village, there's a salt mine. People do salt mining there. My village is made up of farmers and salt miners. I form part of the farmers. We go to farm, and others, they do salt mining. So when we were young, my mother would send me to send peeled cassava. The peel of the cassava. We were sending it to the salt mining sites. Most were Muslims, so they needed the peeled cassava. They peeled for their sheep and goats. So normally we will gather this outer of the cassava, and then later we send them there. Now, when I send them, then they gave me salt for free. So it was more or less like exchange. You give something to get, and to get, you must give or you must lose. Okay. That's why we're saying that in the modern world, salt is readily available, and we take it for granted. Yes, we were not buying it. Now, I was not buying. You just go with the peel of the cassava, and then they give you the salt. Of course, in exchange, they feed their sheep and goat or their animals with the peeled cassava. So I think we were abusing it because we didn't buy. And also we had the idea that even when this is over, we can still go there for another. So that's why we're saying that in the modern world, salt is readily, the word is readily, not ready, readily available. And we take it for granted. Yes, when something is in plentiful, or when something is plenty, we abuse it. But in the first century, salt was extremely precious. Salt was extremely precious. Now, it is said that Roman soldiers were often paid in salt. Now, you can imagine being a Roman soldier. You mean people that Satan used to hunt and hound the Christians. They were paid in salt. You can imagine being a soldier and paid in salt. So we say that Roman soldiers were often paid in salt. The English word salary means salt. Okay. The English word salary, as we are receiving now, salary, literally means salt money. So salary means salt money. And the Latin word for salt is sal, S-A-L. So the Latin origin of salt is sal. So sal is the Latin word for salt. We're trying to trace the origin of salt. So the sal is the Latin for salt. And we're saying that the English word salary literally means salt money. And salt was used to pay the ancient Roman soldiers. Now, let's see how American Heritage Dictionary defines precious. So, American Heritage Dictionary defines precious. Sorry. We're trying to understand the word precious. So, American Heritage Dictionary defines precious as of high cost or worth. High cost or worth. Highly esteemed or cherished. That's what American Heritage Dictionary defines precious. High cost or worth, or valuable, or you can say highly esteemed or cherished. Now let's go to Advanced English Dictionary. Advanced English Dictionary defines precious now as an adjective. I will define it as an adjective and as an adverb. So Advanced English Dictionary defines precious as an adjective as of high worth or cost. So you see that it is the same as the American Heritage Dictionary. Held in great esteem or admirable qualities. High worth or cost. Held in great esteem for admirable qualities. So precious. Now precious being an adverb means extremely. It means, that's why in English I said highly esteemed or cherished in the American Heritage Dictionary. So precious has been defined. Now the Latin word for precious is preciosus or pretiosus. If you want, P-R-E-T-I-O-S-U-S. Someone will say precious. If you want, or someone will say preciosus. P-R-E-T-I-O-S-U-S is the Latin word for precious, which means of great value. That's one. Costly, two, and dear. So in love, being noun, if you want to define precious as a noun, we mean beloved. 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 And of course, in engineering, we can talk of precious metals. We mean aluminium, diamond, gold, silver, and others. Precious. All right. So salt means precious. So that's one. Two. A definition of salt. Salt flavors. Salt flavors. So we say it flavors. Now, salt flavors the food that we eat. Of course, I can imagine people who have been banned from eating salt. In fact, if you cook minus salt, the eating is so difficult. So we're saying that salt flavors the food we eat. You continue by saying a little salt makes food taste better. Likewise, godly Christians make the world a better place in which to live. Salt makes food taste better. Likewise, godly Christians make the world a better place in which to live. Have you observed? So let's draw a scenario where people have gathered, multitude have gathered, and they are laughing, they are telling dirty jokes, they are using profanities. You could see that the moment a highly respected Christian, being man or woman, walks into the room where these people are cracking jokes, they are laughing, they are telling dirty jokes, they are using profanities. You could see that at the moment this Christian enters, he changes or she changes the whole atmosphere for the better. Thereby, these people will stop, or they will refrain from their foolish and stupid utterances. They will stop to use their profanities because they have seen a respected Christian amid them. So we think that when they're cracking dirty jokes, when they are using their foolish utterances, once they see that a Christian man is coming or has entered there, they will all stop. In fact, they will all stop using their profane languages. So here we think that the Christian unconsciously exerts a wholesome influence on the group and brings their bad mannered, we say vulgar, bad mannered jokes and filthy language to an end. So once you are respected, once they see a Christian who is coming, of course, initially they are afraid of you. They refrain from their foolish utterances, being the dirty jokes, their laughter, and then their profanities. So we say that the Christian unconsciously exerts a wholesome influence on the group. And the group, we are referring to people who are using the profanities, and they bring their vulgar, we mean their bad mannered jokes and filthy jokes to an end, or filthy language and their jokes to an end. So here we're saying that as salt flavors food, we are saying that a food minus salt normally is tasteless. So the salt will make the food more tasty. So we're saying that, so we are comparing the Christian to the salt here. As salt flavors food, true followers of Christ help bring decency, purity, and honor into society. As salt flavors food, true followers of Christ help bring decency, purity, and honor into society. The salt flavored Christian is proportional to the euphemist. Of course, I will explain. The salt, or you can say the salty, or you can say the salt flavored Christian is proportional. He is equal to the euphemist. Now, euphemist is someone who uses euphemisms. So, euphemist is someone who uses euphemisms. Now, let's try to understand the word euphemism. Now, euphemism from the Greek word euphemismosis, or if you want, you can say euphemis, or if you want, you can say euphemismos. Okay, euphemismos, euphemismos. So let's break them. Euphemismos. Okay, so euphemismos. So euphemismos is the Greek word for euphemism. So euphemism comes from the Greek word euphemismos. Now the meaning is that to use auspicious word. Auspicious word. So the Greek word euphemismos means to use auspicious word or words. Now, the auspicious are words, or auspicious words are words that augur or indicate favorable. We're saying that the Greek word for euphemism is euphemismos, means to use auspicious words. And auspicious words are words that augur, O-U-G-U-R, or indicate favorable. Now, favorable here, we are making reference to encouraging or approving or pleasing. So words that are pleasing, words that are encouraging are called auspicious words. Auspicious words are words that augur or indicate favor. And the favor here means pleasing, encouraging, and approving. We're trying to combat profanities. So euphemism, now let's try to define the euphemism. Euphemism is an or inoffensive. Euphemism is inoffensive or indirect expression that is substituted for one which is considered offensive or harsh. So euphemism is a word, or it's an inoffensive word or indirect expression that is used to substitute profanities or harsh words. That's why in literature we have what we call figure of speech. So we have what we call euphemism. So when you are speaking, they will say, be euphemistic. It means use a favorable words, where that will encourage, where that will please, and that which will approve. Words which are appealing. Now, let's go to Matthew 12. Matthew 12, verse 36 and 37, to prove the euphemism in the Bible. Matthew 12, verse 36 to 37. But I say to you that every idle word that men will speak, they will give account for it in the day of judgment. Now, verse 37. For by your words you'll be justified, and by your words you'll be condemned. Matthew 12, verse 36 to 37. So you sit down there. In fact, I've seen that women, they love to use profane words a lot. Women, they love it a lot. I don't know why, but they are fond of doing that. Precisely when they are in gathering, whether they are cooking, they are having conversation. It could be at a wedding, at a funeral, marketplaces. They are fond of a profanity so much. In fact, they are fond of, with little conversation, then they have to chip in profanities. And based on this, that's why sometimes they push their children into prostitution and then early marriages. For example, if the girl child has a heavy butt, they start to praise you on that. Look at your butt. Look at this and that. So they instill in the girl pride. All these are pride. Because the girl is a child. She used to go to school to learn and to work. She used to venture into apprenticeship to learn, to become a madam and then establish herself. No. They begin to praise her and they want her to wear some clothes which is indecent to showcase his butt. When I say butt, I mean buttocks. And by so doing, she appears appealing to men so that Men will be running helter-skelter to the woman or the parents, seeking the approval of them or from them to marry the world. They are pushing you into prostitution. Remember, I always say that a girl who does not work is disqualified to be married. So heavy butts is not a qualification for marriage. I just see this to be foolishness. That I'm going to marry a woman because of the buttocks. Love is not based on physical attraction. True love is not based on physical attraction. I'm not saying that. I mean, if you like it, then there's nothing wrong with that. But I'm making reference to where the girl is young, and by profanities, she's persuaded to showcase what she has, to get what she wants. So, at the early stages, most girls are taught pride. They install in them the pride of good shape and others. So they start to expose themselves through indecent dresses. They wear a tight-fitting trowel, and they wear a short top. In fact, normally, if you are a girl with a heavy butt as a Christian, the best thing is that even if you wear a trowel, the trowel must be loose. That's number one. You wear loose trowel, and also you wear a long top, to cover your butt. It means you're not trying to showcase what you have to the world or general public. But normally, the mothers, let's say the girl has been sent to send something to the funeral ground or the wedding ground or where they have gathered. Hey, madam, you have a property, you have a gadget in your home. They start to praise you. And if this girl is not sensible, she imitates what they are saying. They say, so it means I have this. So why am I starving? She starts a prostitution. Of course, men will use you. And I mentioned men. Normally, when you go to total stations, I mean public transport, where drivers are waiting for their cars to be loaded, then you will also hear them. Men are also, they are equally fond of profanities a lot. Yes. At times, foolishly, they discuss how they even sleep with their wives. And people who play draft and spa, cats, they are also fond of profanities. And the Bible is saying that, for by your words, you'll be justified, and by your words, you'll be condemned. So be happy. Wherever you are. Use it as a means of a conversation. Use it as a means to prevent boredom, to spread what I've been doing. Please, it is wrong to use profanities. Some will go to hell free of charge. Free. They didn't kill. They went to church. In fact, they were the most punctual and regular Christians. They gave a lot. So they were praising them. They contributed. They built a building for the churches. They bought for the church. I mean, they worship Christ well. So well that per our judgment, we see them to be already in heaven. But they were not euphemistic, or they are not euphemistic in their speech. So they will go to hell. By your words, you'll be justified. By your words, you'll be condemned. Justified, condemned. That's why it is a mandate that as short of the earth, we proportion you to someone who uses euphemism in his. That's why we're saying that a shorter Christian is proportional to the euphemist. And of course, I've explained the Greek origin of euphemism and what it even means. Now, point 3 of what is salt. Salt heals. Salt heals. So we say it heals. So here, I'm going to give, I'll explain everything. So we're saying that a sinus infection requires saline nose spray. So a sinus infection requires saline nose spray or a saline sinus rinse. So, one, we have the saline nose spray or saline sinus rinse to cure the sinusitis. I'll repeat myself. Of course, I will explain. You're saying that a sinus infection requires saline nose spray or saline sinus rinse to cure the sinusitis. Now, the adjective saline means containing salt, and the synonym for saline is salt. That's all. That's why we're saying that a sinus infection requires saline nose spray or saline sinus rinse to cure the sinusitis. So the word saline, being an adjective, means containing salt, and the synonym for saline is salt. That's all. Now I have to define the sinusitis. Sinusitis, because we said that a sinus infection requires saline nose spray or saline sinus rinse to cure the sinusitis. So let's define the sinusitis. Now, it is an inflammation. So sinusitis is an inflammation of the tissues in the sinuses. And the sinuses, we mean the spaces in the forehead, in the cheeks, and the nose, which are usually filled with air. Please, I repeat it. Sinusitis is an inflammation of the tissue in the sinuses. We mean the spaces in the forehead, the cheeks, and the nose, which are usually filled with air. Now, it is generally caused by, so we are trying to look at the causes of the sinusitis. It is caused by cold. We all know cold. Cold. Viruses, bacteria. It can be caused by fungi and even an allergy. So fungi or allergies. Now when we say allergies, we mean hypersensitivity, reaction to a particular allergen. So the word, as I said that it is generally caused by cold. We know cold. Cold, it could be viruses, it could be bacteria or fungi, and what we call allergies. And we're saying that the allergies refer to hypersensitivity reaction to a particular allergen, or some would say allergen. You can say allergen or allergen. Now, as I said today, now we explain a lot. The allergen is a noun. The allergen is a noun. It means it is any substance that can cause allergy. That's all. I want to repeat the same thing. We're saying that a sinusitis is an inflammation of the tissue in the sinuses, precisely the spaces in the forehead, the cheeks, and then the nose. Now, it was caused by cold. Some will say colds if you want. We have viruses, we have bacteria, fungi, and allergies. And we are defining the allergies as hypersensitivity reaction to a particular allergen. And the allergen here is a noun. And it is referring to any substance that can cause an allergy. Simple. Now, the same sinusitis will cause facial pain. Okay, facial pain. Stuffy or runny nose. Runny nose, of course, I will explain it. Runny nose, and sometimes fever and other symptoms. Now, we don't say runny nose or running stomach. You see, Ghanaians and they speak rough. And it is not even Ghanaians. Precisely, these actors and actors, I don't know whether they don't go to school. They promote the environment. For example, I'm on a bed. Hey, I'm in bed, yes. I'm in bed. I'm sick. I'm in bed. How can you be in bed? How can you be in bed? Well, if you say you are in bed, that means you are inside the mattress. Rather, we say, I am on a bed. And not, I am in bed. I want my food in bed. I want breakfast in bed. In bed. In bed means you are part of the mattress. So basically, you don't exist. I mean, how can a human being form part of a mattress? The foam, it means you form part of the foam. So you don't say, I am in bed. I am on bed. I am ill. And not I'm sick. I'm sick is when your destiny is, your sickness is permanent. Leprosy, cripple, and deaf, dumb, and then others. Blind. They are sickness. It takes divine intervention. So we don't say running stomach. A stomach does not run. I mean, how possible that officially a stomach is running? I mean, can you imagine that a stomach is running? Now have a running nose. It means your nose is running. We say runny. R-U-N-N-Y. Runny. That's why here we say that sinusitis causes facial pain, stuffy or runny nose, and sometimes fever and other symptoms. Now let's try to define the runny. Now runny is an adjective, and it means a characteristic of a fluid capable of flowing and easily changing shape. So runny is a characteristic of a fluid, or you can say it's a feature of a fluid capable of flowing and easily changing shape. That's why we say runny nose. So at times it is liquid, and sometimes it will stuck inside. That's why we say runny. Now, sometimes you ate something that you were not supposed to eat. So you see that you'll be visiting the washroom frequently. So we say runny stomach. At times it is moist, and sometimes it will become solid. Runny, not running. Now we continue with the sinus infection. Now sometimes it could be a drop or a spray. Yeah, it could be a drop or a spray. So you can drop it in, or sometimes it will be in the form of spray. I think this one it should be clear. At times it could be a drop, or sometimes you press the top and it will appear to be a perfume. Now, and when you rub it on your face, because we heard of pain on the face or facial pain. Now, when you have a facial pain being caused by sinusitis, there's no way you are going to drop it. Okay, so maybe you're going to pour in your hand and then you rub it. As you are rubbing, this is a form of a spray. So it could be a nasal drop or nasal spray, depending on how you're going to use it. And of course, when you have this running nose being called catarrh, for example, if you have a catarrh, you can see that it appears to be a wound in your head. So when you drop the liquid in, at times you see that you suffer a lot, and you see that at times you become abnormal. You be moving here and there. Sometimes you'll be hitting your head, and some may even you need an ice block to apply to. That's why some don't want the drop, and we are aware that a medicine must soothe. The word soothe means to comfort. So already you are in pain. So the medicine should be an aid. So the medicine is coming to comfort you and not to cause more pains. This is what you must know. That's why we are using the sinus spray. And someone may say the drop, they are all the same. I mean, they are all words or names given to the medicine. But when you don't want an intense pain, I'm saying that a medicine must comfort. A medicine must not cause pains. Mostly. Because already you are in pain. So we assume that the medicine should be able to comfort. I'm not saying that it is always so, but at least that's how it should have been. Okay, all right. So I think the spray and then the drop are cleared. So here we're saying that sore throat is gargled with warm water. Sore throat, I mean those who are suffering from the sinusitis. The sore throat is gargled with warm salt water. Warm salt water. Sore throat is gargled with warm salt water to soothe the pain. Oh, very good. I even have to soothe, to comfort, to minimize. You see, to soothe the pain. Sore throat is gargled with salt, warm water, or warm salt water to soothe the pain, to comfort the pain, and not to cause more pains, and to cure the infection. So the purpose of the salt or the sinus, the spray here, is to give comfort to the person. Remember, this is in the head. Now, if you have an open wound, before you can apply the spirit, then you'll be chanting. You'll be shouting, you'll be running. To ginger you, that one is different. But that's why we are making reference to something which is inward. And if you're not careful, sometimes this can even cause partial brain something. When you drop it in so much, remember there's a wound in the head. When you have a catarrh, there's a wound in the head. There's a wound in the head. That's what you must know. So if you apply it and you think that it is going to worry you, the best is that you can rub it. So by rubbing, you say you are spraying. That's why we're saying that salt heals. So the point of what is salt is that salt heals. Of course, if you want to drop it too, you can drop it, depending on your resistance. Not all can resist the pain caused inward. So we're saying that sore throat is gargled with warm salt water to soothe the pain. The word soothe, S-O-O-T-H-E, means to comfort, to minimize. So to soothe, to comfort the pain, to minimize the pain. Of course, if you are doing English literature, they can underline some words, and you also provide synonyms. So synonyms for soothe means to comfort, to minimize the pain, and to cure the infection. So we say that salt kills germs and heals injuries and wounds. Salt kills germs. Salt also heals injuries and wounds. Now, when we say injury is minor cut in terms of a safety. Okay, so injury and wound isn't the same. Injury is minor cut. It could be some bruises. That one is injury. But a wound could be losing your finger, losing your wrist, your hand, or when something has pierced your skin and you need an operation, being a surgery. That one is so a wound is a severe than injury. And in all cases, of course, because there's an opening flesh, germs may be entrapped in there. So the salt, that's why you say salt heals and kills germs, whether injury or wound. The medicine must contain salt or alcohol. So precisely, some may rub it with a spirit. And of course, as they are applying the medicines, some may contain both the alcohol and then the salt. That's why we are saying that salt kills germs and heals injuries and wounds. Now, why are we all saying this? Because we are saying that the Christians are antiseptic. Christians are the antiseptic to the germs of sin that make the world so sick. So the word is sick. We're trying to apply that the word is sick. So the Christian must act as an antiseptic. Remember in point 2, we said that salt flavors. We mean when people are issuing some foolish utterances. When a multitude, gathered multitude, are using profanities, the moment they see a Christian, then they'll stop it or they will seize it. So it means that the Christian has been able to influence them. Therefore, they have stopped their foolish utterances. So it means the Christian has flavored their conversation. In fact, they will stop it. And point 3 here, we're saying that the word is sick. The word is sick of germs. And a Christian must be an antiseptic. You see, I'm saying that being sort of the earth and the light of the world is what everyone must learn. So I've been saying that if you have a child who is going to school, who is traveling, who is leaving the home, the person must be taught the Beatitudes. Matthew 5, verse 3 to 10, verse 13 and 14. Living for Jesus. We live for Christ. Wherever you are, you must live for Christ. I've seen that one sister has joined earlier, and now I also have Eric. Eric, you are welcome. I have been doing well. Of course, you are so busy, and you make the time. I thank you, my true brethren, for joining me. So a Christian becomes an antiseptic to the world because they are sick of profanities. They speak anyhow and they behave anyhow. But when you are there, oh, this man doesn't drink. Oh, this boy does not drink. Maybe there's a party. Of course, if we're a worker and organizing a party, if you want to go, you can go. Myself, I don't like that. But if you go in there, you see that they're going to bring in alcohol. You take soft drink. That's all. And this reminds me, last 2 years, I went for a program at Cape Coast for about 4 months. And we were served drinks every Friday. Can you imagine? So every Friday. Now, on the first day, they brought a list that write your name and then your drink. And then the drink was crab beer. So I wrote my name and then I wrote water. You see. Now someone said I should write crab for him. I said no. In fact, I didn't even mind him because I don't have time for such a nonsense. I'm a Christian, so why should I write crab? For what? So I didn't mind him. And they announced that all those who will not write a crab beer will be given water. Meanwhile, we were giving Vortic morning, afternoon, evening. And they said they were still going to give us water. I said, oh, I mean, I didn't even want to write my name. But I had to write because they knew me. So I wrote my name, Joseph Fata. I wrote my name, Joseph Fata, and then water. And most of them, they wrote crab beer. Hey, we were there and then they brought the beers in crates. I thought they were even joking. Then they said that this exercise will continue every Friday. So every Friday, they gave us drinks. And God being so wonderful. Those of us who don't drink alcohol, we were given malts. Plastic and canned malts. We were given, Coke. There were plenty. About 4 or 5. Fanta, Coke. There were in, different varieties. And those who wrote for the club, they went and complained that they also want the soft. They said, no, you wrote alcohol, so we have given you alcohol. They wrote water. Water is soft, so we have given them soft drinks. And I say, hallelujah. This is being a salt and light on the earth. You must shine wherever you are. So you must heal where you are. That's why we're saying that the world is sick of sin. The world is sick of sin. So if you're a Christian, wherever you are, you must be an antiseptic to be used to disinfect this sickness, being their wounds. This is what I'm trying to make reference to. Salt heals. Salt heals. It means be able to act as a disinfectant to kill the germs. So Christians, once again, are an antiseptic to the germs of sin that make the world so sick. I was so happy that I was able to live for Christ. Of course, I don't drink. And where I went was far away from my church. In fact, it was during the COVID era, so we didn't even go out. I was in my hotel room until we finished, and then I came to Takrady. So I could have sinned there a lot because that place was no man's land. We cared for nothing. Of course, you are in your own room, so you can even go. And then the restaurant had the hotel has I said the hotel. Yes, the hotel has a restaurant, and they were also selling crab, Guinness, Ejapia, ginseng power. They were selling a lot of Abiensu, K20, and all the alcohols were all there. That was where we were eating. So at times during evening, when you go there for banana, I said banana, bisab or a pineapple juice. At times I go and then pour. Oh, they were there. So as many times you want to go and pour. So at times I will fill a drink. So I'll go in there. I won't buy. I don't like drinks that are packaged, these carbonated drinks. I don't like them. So I won't even buy. Not that I am myself, but I don't like them. They don't occur to me that I should go and buy more to drink. I don't like that. That is not my lifestyle. So I will go there to pour bisab. As I went to pour bisab, I saw some there drinking crab. It means they can't wait to Friday. So concurrently, they were there to booth. And they all have churches to attend. That's why I said from this studies, I will teach what is a Christian. So a believer is not a Christian. It's people have been misusing the word Christian because it also goes to church. It's a Christian. I'll prove it. Whether you were a Christian or not. So there I had to, and I wasn't proving anything. It is my nature. I live to express, not to impress. Yes. So I didn't write water to prove anything. No. My nature is that I don't drink alcohol. Period. So whether the system is forcing me or not, I will not do it. To do what Romans do when you go to Rome is foolishness. And what do you mean by do what the Romans do when you are in Rome? No. I won't do it. That's why you must shine. You must shine to prove that you are not just an ordinary Christian, but a Christian. So point 4 of what is salt. We are just on the A. We are on the A. You are the salt of the earth. It's what we are tweeting, episode 9 of the Beatitudes. And we are defining point A. What is salt? So on the 4th point under the A salt was a mineral and preservative in ancient Israel. So in the ancient Israel, salt was a mineral and a preservative. Initially, I said that when I was young, my mom sent me to send peeled cassava, the outer of the cassava, to a salt mining center in our hometown. So I went and gave them the peeled cassava, and then they also gave me salt. That's why we're saying that salt was a mineral. So once again, you must know that a salt is a mineral. It is something that you have to extract, I think, through evaporation or so. Initially, they pour water into the, you see, they have some concreted platform. And then there's a tube where water can pass through. So normally, they pour the seawater or the salt water. We call it lagoon. So the lagoon is poured or pumped. Sometimes, rather, they use a pump. So they pump the lagoon into the, I would say, it's a foundation. It's divided into different rooms. So they pour into it, and then the sun will shine. So upon several shining, when the sun is so scorching, it's when this lagoon water will now dry, and as it dries, it forms the salt. So that's why we're saying that salt is mine. So we're saying that salt was a mineral and preservative in the ancient Israel. To disinfect wounds. Already I've said it. It is used to disinfect wounds. B, for seasoning. Yes, if you want to preserve your meat or fish. Then number 3, for preserve to preserve or for preservative. So 1, to disinfect wounds. 2, to season. To preserve. Now, why are we saying this? So let's try to understand for seasoning. Number 4 of point A. What is salt? It's saying that salt was a mineral and preservative in the ancient Israel. So to disinfect wounds. To season or for seasoning. To preserve or for preserving. So we're trying to understand the preserve and then the seasoning. Now, there were no freezers in the ancient world. No freezers, no refrigerators. This one is clear. So to prevent meat and fish from spoiling, people wrapped salt into them. Sometimes they will cut open and then put in salt. For example, Ghana, we have what we call kako, or salted fish. Yes, they cut some, let's say, the belly and part of the flesh, and then they put in salt, then they dry them in the sun. So here we're saying that to prevent meat and fish from spoiling, the people wrapped salt into them. The word is into them. So if it is a meat, yeah, you cut it open and then you put in salt and then you close it. Or you can just spread or rub the salt on it and leave it. Tomorrow you meet it as it is. In fact, when I began to prepare fufu, okay, I remember there was a time I was with my father at the village. On Sundays, we have to come home to go to school on Monday. So Friday after school, we have to go to the farm. My father was sleeping in the farm. So me, when I say village, I'm not referring to my hometown, but I'm referring to a house built in the bush. That's the meaning of village. So we went there every Friday, and then we came home every Sunday. So normally, before we went home, we cook. We eat before we go. So I remember one time, I prepared fufu somewhere 1:30 to 2 o'clock. So when I was done, my dad will eat in the evening. So when I was done, I rubbed the surface of the fufu with salt. Then I went home. I mean, salt were poured on the fufu, and not much, some few ones. So on Friday when we returned, I came and met a friend of my father. So my dad was having a conversation or chat with this friend, and he said that, oh, Atu knows how to prepare fufu a lot, because on Sunday he pounded fufu and then rubbed salt on it, and in the evening I was able to eat without it being spoiled. So salt is used for preservative. You can even use it to prevent some food from spoiling. So we're saying that they rubbed the salt into the fish and then the meat. Once the meat and fish were cured with salt, they lasted almost indefinitely. So you can rub it and then you go to sleep. There's no way it will spoil, because there will be no germs. They cannot be contaminated. No germ can enter. No sickness. I say sickness. No germ can enter, and there's no way it will spoil. No germ, no single germ. Being a fly, you know, the fly will go and then lay its eggs into it. So no germ could enter. That's why we say that once the meat and fish were cured with salt, they lasted almost indefinitely. So we're saying that salt killed the bacteria and other microorganisms. That's all. Why salt was rubbed in the fish and the meat? Because it killed the bacteria and other microorganisms that caused meat and fish to ruin. You see, I'm trying to let you know that if you have all these qualities in you, if you are having, and Christ is saying you should have all these qualities in us. So if you have a salt in you, no bacteria can enter into you, no microorganisms. So don't see that I'm just teaching, but I'm teaching in favor of a Christian who is salty. A Christian who is salty has all these features. So salt killed the bacteria and other microorganisms that caused meat and fish to ruin, to spoil, to cause a smell. Salt was a preservative that kept meat and fish from decomposing. So a Christian who has salt in him or her lack to decompose. There's no way you decay. It is impossible that you decay. Already you have a salt in you, and this salt will continuously prevent bacterial and microorganisms from being entering your body. That's why they see us and they are angry. Sometimes they see you and then they stop their foolish utterances. Sometimes when they see you coming, then they disperse. Yeah, this one will pass here, and this one will pass there, because they have seen that you are coming, and you do not tolerate such nonsense. So either they stop it, or they come to a conclusion. So therefore, hey, Charlie, I'm going, so I'll see you tomorrow. No. The person would have gone, but because they have seen that you are coming, and when you are with someone, let's say recently, may God forgive me. Normally, as a Christian, when you do something good, you don't have to say it. But I'm using it as an example. That's why I'm saying that God should forgive me. I sent one girl and one boy to Kapuha for attachment. And the girl told me that, hey, say, I was surprised what Theophilus told me. I said, what did he say? Then he said that initially, he didn't respect me when he saw me with some teacher, the person, I won't mention his name. But now, he has started to respect me because I am now with him. I said, oh, wow. In fact, I was so impressed. Initially, this boy did not respect the girl because she was with some teacher or some teachers. Now, I respect you. Now, he respected because she is now with me. And this girl happens to be my wife. It's a student wife. Even though she's now to be accepted by the previous one. But she's considered as my mentee. Salt flavors. Salt heals. Salt preserves. Salt seasons. Salt disinfects. So this girl is now cured of bacteria and microorganisms. We call this one a pruning. All right. So we're saying that salt was a preservative that kept meat and fish from decomposing. The guy is no more decomposing because she now moves with salt. Hey, there's no way I will issue profanities with her. And there's no way I'm going to propose to her, buy her a correct drink. No. Will not happen. This is the trait of a Christian. If you're a Christian, then that's how you should behave. All right. We move on. So now we are done with what is salt. What is salt? I gave you 4 definitions of salt. Now we are on the point B of the synopsis or the objectives of the studies. B. What does "you are the salt of the earth" mean? What does "you are the salt of the earth" mean? Yeah, what's the meaning of "you are the salt of the earth"? Now, Jesus was saying that our function on earth is to purify and preserve society by living clean, godly lives and exerting a wholesome influence upon it. I repeat myself. Jesus was saying that our function on earth is to purify and preserve the society. So you purify and you preserve it by living clean, godly lives and exerting a wholesome influence or influence upon it. That's what I'm saying, that when they see you coming, they disperse by force. Impromptu dispersion. When they see you coming, they cease their conversation. They are foolish utterances. They stop to crack their dirty jokes. In fact, if you're a Christian and you are seated among the pagans or the unbelievers, and they're cracking jokes, they are using profanities, then you should be careful. There's a question mark on you. A Christian who is sitting there and yet they are comfortably, at least. In fact, I have a friend at work. He will say, hey, Osofo is here. It means I am there. So he stops what he's saying and then he moves out. Or so far as I come in, hey, Osofo has come. So they will stop what they are saying. All right. So our purpose as Christians is to save the world from purification or petrifaction. Sorry. Our purpose on earth is to save the world from petrifaction. Now, Jesus is telling us not to withdraw from the world. Of course, I mean, now I live in the world. So he's not saying that we should, run away from the world. No. Of course, you're going to preach to the world. All those to be saved are in the world. I myself, I live in the world. So Jesus is telling us not to withdraw from the world, but to engage the world. Not to withdraw, but to engage. Salt cannot preserve meat as long as it stays in the salt shaker or bag. We're saying that the fish and the meat are cut open and the salt is put in. So the meat becomes the world, the salt becomes the Christian. So the salt is in the meat, the salt is in the fish, the Christian is in the world. The salt is in the meat is the world, the salt is the Christian. And then the Christian will act to purify the fish and the meat from bacteria and microorganisms. The salt is in the meat to act as an antiseptic to disinfect. That's why here Christ is saying that our purpose as Christians is to save the world from petrifaction. So Jesus is telling us not to withdraw from the world, but to engage the world. We must engage them. But you might be there. There's no way you'll be working with only Christians. It is not true. And even among the Christians, some are living an ungodly life, but they have a hidden it. We have Christians who celebrated Christmas recently. Some are still celebrating the New Year. We have Christians who mingle with the world. They do what they do. Some even drink alcohol. Some are into gossip and then dating. I mean, they're everyone. So even among our own Christians, which we claim to be in the Lord's church, not all are there to worship God. Not all will go to heaven. Even though they are Christians, not all will go to heaven. Heaven isn't meant for all. So this is what we must know. But here we're saying that do not withdraw from the world, but engage the world. To engage means to disinfect. So I cannot preserve meat as long as it stays in the salt shaker or bag. Yes, when salt is in its container, it becomes useless because you have not applied to the fish. So the salt will not function so far as it remains in its bag or the container. So to keep meat from spoiling means that the salt must contact the meat. So there must be contact. Do not withdraw. Engage. Meat and fish were preserved by putting the salt inside the fish, inside the meat. They are precisely in. The salt are always in the meat and then the fish. So here we're saying that to keep meat from spoiling, the salt must contact the meat. So there must be a contact. We are in the world, but not of the world. Likewise, followers of Christ must contact people in the world to influence them for good and to keep the society from becoming morally corrupt. If salt must contact the meat, then Christians must contact unbelievers to influence them for good, and keep the society from becoming morally corrupt. Let them know that you don't drink alcohol. You have to let them know that you don't womanize. Oh, why are you always indoors? Why are you always indoors? Why don't you go and bring in girls for sex and others? Why don't you go out and bring in men? Because you are living as the salt of the earth. You must flavor their influence. Of course, you must heal them as well. And then you are precious. Now, let's see what a man called J.A. Broadhouse, or some will say Broadus, Broadus. He is saying that as salt preserves things from corruption, as salt preserves things from corruption and decay. So it is the office of Christians to preserve the mass of mankind from utter moral corruption and ruin, as salt preserves things from corruption and decay. So it is the office of Christians to preserve the mass. When I say the mass, you mean the whole of mankind from utter moral corruption and ruin. J.A. Brothers. That's what he said. Now go to point C. The corruption in the world. Yeah, so let's see the corruption in the world. So since Adam and Eve, when they disobeyed God in the Garden of Eden, the world had been corrupted by sin. And without God's direction, human beings are inclined to live for pleasure. Yes. We think that the world has been corrupted by sin. And without God's direction, human beings are inclined. They are glued to live for pleasure, power, and personal gain. That's all. So they live for pleasure, for power, and personal gain. Selfish ambition leads to conflict, chaos, and war. The selfish ambition leads to conflict, war, and chaos. The world is so corrupt that they don't want you to be employed. And I wonder, now when you are employed, they're not going to, the employers are not going to divide the person who don't want you to be employed. They're not going to share his money with you. You're going to be given different salary. Yeah, because of the selfish ambition, they don't want you near them. Why? Because at times you go there to expose their sins. Sometimes they are there and they are doing something which is so error. And because you are in the same church with them, or because they know you, when you go there, they will be ashamed. So selfish ambition leads to a conflict, chaos, and war. Sexual sin, dissension, hatred, discord, jealousy, rage, envy, drug and alcohol addiction, domestic violence, human trafficking, and murder become widespread because the world has been corrupted by sin. The world has been corrupted by sin. So we have all the social vices. And we have men who are brutalizing their wives in the home. And I wonder, why should a man hate a woman anyway? If she's annoying, consider it as a challenge, and then you live there. If your house is 2 or 3, you can go out and hang around. Later you come to cool tempers down anyway. So domestic violence is there. We have human trafficking. We have sexual sins. We have hatred, envy, jealousy. We have people who are into drugs. A whole lot. They are widespread, all because of Adam and Eve. Now, prayer and the Bible are banned from public schools. Yes. Now, this reminds me, recently, I saw something on TikTok where a Ghanaian presenter was interviewing some man who claims to be in US, and he mentioned about 10 schools which offer free scholarship, and sometimes they will even give you some stipend, some bonuses. And they were bringing a whole lot. So I carefully typed all the schools and sent to my professor, my lecturer at a US. That please, I saw this on TikTok, that we have schools in the United States which offers free scholarship, even with payments. He is there, so he should search and then tell me whether it is true or false. My dear, don't be deceived by the media. And the man came by saying that if you want to go to school at USA, or in the USA, then be careful. Because most of them, they hate the Bible a lot. Most states in US, they hate the Bible. When you are seen with the Bible, you are in danger. So they exist to corrupt, to spread the false doctrines of Satan. So one might be cautious before going to school at USA. So he was saying that if you're a Christian, be careful of the school that you want to attend at USA. If you're doing it online, fine. But if you're going there in person, then be careful. Because they can prevent you from even seeing with the Bible. In fact, they can even expel you entirely for seeing you reading the Bible. That's why here we're saying that a prayer and the Bible are banned from public schools. This is not only in abroad. It could be also in Africa. Precisely to the unbelievers. They make mockery of the Bible. Yeah, they mock it. People who are into Freemason, Illuminati, and others, they make mockery of the Bible. They even mock Jesus Christ. Some will even say that God does not exist. Some will even say that God does not exist. Okay, so here we are saying that prayer and the Bible are banned for public schools, and students shoot their classmates without a twinge of conscience. They are not pricked by their conscience because the gun has been legalized. Maybe it belonged to the father, and carelessly he left the keys. So the boy went, or the girl went, he took it. The boy or the girl can be ignorant. Okay, so he started to shoot the student and then the teachers. Normally, we hear this from abroad. Normally. Why? Because the world has been influenced by the sins of Adam and Eve. The world will and cannot save itself from corruption. The philosophers, the psychologists, and social scientists once believed that humanity was evolving. Now, this means that human beings were getting better and better with the passing of time. Now, the best thinkers are unable to explain why the world is in such a mess. Yes, they didn't start the world with the Bible. They condemned it. They thought they were sensible by... I'm making reference to the philosophers and Aristotle and then others. They condemned the Bible. None was a Christian. No philosopher was a Christian. So basically, they condemned it. Some didn't believe in God. And some thought that the world came by itself. So they condemned a lot. And now, the world cannot save itself from destruction. Upon all their philosophies and others who came to contrary condemn the Bible. Now they need the Bible to save the world. If this world will be saved from Satan, then the Bible will play a key role. That's what I'm saying. That if you don't want to sin, then be reading the Bible. Because I don't want to sin. That's why always I am with the Bible. I have Bibles on my phones. So why I cannot travel with a hard copy, then I refer to the one on my phone. I read, and then I always want to write something on the Bible or using the Bible, so that at least it will shift my attention from venturing into sin. The more you study the Bible, the lesser you sin. So Jesus' analogy of salt suggests that the world is polluted, decomposed, and foul, and it needs to be saved from ruin. That's why you and I must be salt of the earth. Now, in a world driven or driven by pride, true followers of Christ stand apart in their humility. In a world addicted to lust and sensual pleasure, true believers stand apart in their purity. In a world of social upheaval and war, those who are living for Jesus stand apart as peacemakers. Come out from them and separate. Come out from... You mean prune yourself. I believe in pruning. If you go to my page, a techno-utopian. I've written pruning, part 1, 2, and 3. Pruning. The Christian must prune him or herself in the corrupt world. So we say that a world driven by pride, and the world considers pride as an asset. They see the pride as an asset. So true followers of Christ stand apart in their humility. Where there's pride, you are humble. That's the implication. In a world where people are interested in lust and sensual pleasure, you remain in purity. Blessed are the pure. And then in a world where there's a war and violence, Christians are peacemakers. Now there's a man called Kenneth Latoret. He's saying that no life ever lived on this planet. No life ever lived on this planet has been so influential in the affairs of men like the life of Jesus Christ. Yes. And it is true. No leader, no matter who you were, being a government, you took your country into independence, you brought them from slavery. No leader. That's why we're saying that no life ever lived on this planet has been so influential in the affairs of men like the life of Jesus Christ. So the brief life of Jesus has released a force for triumphant living. For triumphant living. So has conquered the way of life. So it has done more to allay the physical ills and disease and famine than any other impulse known to man. When he came, he cured the sick, he healed the sick, he performed many miracles. He left us peace, his church. Christ came to ensure peace, not war. So we say that it has emancipated millions from chattel slavery and millions of others from addiction to vice. This war, sexual and sexual pleasures and others. Domestic violence. I mean, Bible does not support domestic violence. Bible does not support drugs. Bible does not support prostitution. Rather, it condemns it. So it has been the most fruitful source of movement to lessen the horrors of war and to put the relations of men and nations on the basis of justice and peace. The Bible always speaks about justice and peace. It should be justice. Try to ensure peace. All right. So here we are saying that Jesus lived on earth, but 33 years. Jesus lived on earth, but 33 years. The only reason his short life has made such a dramatic impact on the world during the past 2 millennia is that he has been working through his followers. That's why I said when he was going, he chose 12 to be his apprentice. He taught them and he trained them. He left them the Holy Spirit. So we're saying that his followers are the salt of the earth. Now we are all disciples of Christ. Now the word is the same as rotten meat. The word is reference to the rotten meat. And Jesus has called us to be the salt that preserves it. Salt heals. We were healed to heal others. I'm saying that fish, meat, they were cut open and the salt was in, or the salt was spreaded on. Now, the meat and fish stand for the world, and the salt stands for the Christian. So the word is the same as the rotten meat, and Jesus has called us to be the salt that preserves it. That's why he's saying that you are the salt of the earth. So salt heals. So we were healed to heal others. So don't be selfish. Try to influence the lives of those who are around you as you were also taught by Christ. Now, D, we can lose now saltiness. D is the last part of the Salt of the Earth, the episode 9. We can lose now saltiness. Now, Jesus continues by saying, if the salt loses its saltiness, how can it be made salty again? When you have lost your saltiness, a Christian is found amidst people who are using profane words. You are also there, laughing with them, among them. You have lost your saltiness. A Christian who is found drinking with drunkards. A Christian who is found drinking with his fellow workers. A Christian who goes out to a party with the unbelievers. A Christian who goes out to sit out with the unbelievers. A Christian who goes out with an unbeliever. I mean, for example, I'm a Christian, and then a girl will come and then call me to go out with her. And what do you mean by that? What do you mean? And who are you? That you're going to offer me to go? I don't even like going out. In fact, you see, at times, when I'm going to TS to preach, I see some people doing some exercise there. In my mind, I just conclude that in all this, at the end, you die. Going out, my friend, going out to sit for fresh air will never increase your age. In case you are unaware, you will die. So, I don't worry myself with certain things. Now, if you go out to enjoy fresh air, it will not boost your health. In case you are unaware. All these are fictions. All these are what a Satan uses to lure people. I remember when I was young, I was staying with my father's younger brother, of course, as my master. And there was a child who was complaining that home was boring because there was no TV. So the home was boring. There was no TV. So the man bought a TV. The child was still going out. You see, initially, home was boring because there was no TV. Now, TV was bought, and the child was still going out. Going out for fresh air will never increase your lifespan. People have gone and gone and gone and gone, yet they died. People have done exercises, yet they grew old. You grow old and die. I'm saying that you will die. So be careful how you walk. As wise, not a fool, redeeming the time because the days are evil. Therefore, do not be foolish, but understand what the will or the will of the Lord is. Ephesians 5, verse 15 to 17. Be careful how you walk as wise, not a fool. Verse 16, redeeming the time because the days are evil. Verse 17, therefore do not be foolish, but understand what the will of the Lord is. A Christian who goes out with an unbeliever is walking foolishly. It is not the will of the Lord. In case you are unaware, I was bored. And what do you mean by bored? When I am bored, then I read the Bible. There's no way I've experienced a single boredom in my life. Never ever. That's why when I'm indoors, I don't like going out. It is not an excuse. You are sowing to the flesh, and from the flesh you reap corruption. Galatians 6 verse 8. You are sowing to the flesh. Some have divorced, all because the husband has refused to send them out to eat. Some could not marry because the boyfriend or the girlfriend was not sending him or her out. Imagine the foolishness. Be careful how you walk as wise, not a fool. You are a fool because you have allowed the world to dictate to you. You have lost your saltiness. That now I said this some time ago that there was a woman who told me that I should come to the spot because she roasts tilapia in the evening. So I should come there to buy one tilapia, take a Valo malt, any soft drink, and then enjoy myself. Then she said, say, go out small. Because you're always indoors. Why? From kiosk, then you go home. Why? Number one, I don't like tilapia. Number one, I don't like it. It is not something that looks appetizing to me. And number two, I don't sit outside to drink. This spot is by the road. The spot is by the road. We call it Kanwaya, where I stay. From Etumeshel, then it is on your left. The spot is by the roadside. So what if by accident a car runs us over there? Then later the newspaper will say that a driver lost control and killed people drinking at a drinking spot. Then I'll be part of this. Atofiakwa. I mean, may God forbid this in my life. And then you are dead. No camera recorded that you were drinking a soft drink and others were drinking alcohol. They will say those who were. I am hereby saying that only drunkards sit by drinking spots. Period. And if you're a Christian who goes out to let's say a pub or a joint where the world are dancing and they are fooling, you are also somewhere drinking. Equally, you are also with them. When there's a disaster and they die, you also die, and you will all be generalized as people who went there to flirt, for example. Going out does not boost love and marriage. Now, going out will never increase your lifespan. I remember when I was at my village, two of my aunties, they went to Cote d'Ivoire. Initially, we call it Abidjan. Then I was at the village, so we saw Abidjan to be something so superb. Now, they came unharmed. So when I began, when I was brought to Takoradi to start my life as an apprentice, one day I went there, and then one was advising me that, Ato, now, if you travel, and then you don't like going out, you don't like friends, oh, you will stay there and prosper, and your life will be long on earth. And she said that this was what helped her when she went to Cote d'Ivoire. They were always indoors. They didn't go out anywhere. They were always indoors. And this indoors is a form of security. I cry for those who are even abroad. You can be killed by stray bullets. Maybe someone or a sniper has fired a gun, or someone has mistakenly fired a gun, and then you were also passing by, or you were sitting there. You can be killed, and then you die. Or there could be a fight at the drinking spot, and if you are not like someone will stab you with a can bottle or knife. You see? Be careful how you walk as wise, not a fool. A Christian does not mingle with the world. I, Joseph, don't go out to sit at a pub joint, at a drinking spot where people are drinking alcohol. I will never go there. I won't go there. Of course, you can buy the food and then go and then eat in your house. There's no. Be careful how you walk as wise and not a fool. Redeeming the time, because the days are evil. Yes, because the person who took you in there is wasting your time. Redeeming the time. We mean utilize what others have been wasting. That you won't take me out. For what? Because I am bored. And what do you mean by you are bored? Why should I have a Bible? You see, I consider African Christianity as fake and fiction. That a Christian is saying that she is bored, he is bored. How possible? It means the person does not learn the Bible. I am so happy. At times I read the Bible and then you see that I'll be laughing. Yes, the learning itself, yeah, will provoke me to laugh. It means I'm happy. The Bible has everything. The Bible has everything. So what you're going to seek out there is found in the Bible. You must have interest in reading. And it is a shame to have mingled with unbelievers. How would they tag you in future when they see you with someone who is a Christian, or maybe by then you have advanced in life? How would they tag you? Oh, this guy was going out. I was going out with she used to call me to go and pick her to a sport. Or this man, I was going out. How would they even respect you when you marry? How would they even respect you? They will not respect you. They are not going to respect you because you lost your saltiness in you. Meanwhile, if you are a good Christian, if you are someone who is being respected, no unbeliever will come and then prompt you that let's go out. Yes, it means you are cheap. No one will prompt you that come, or will the person will not even call because you don't keep a foolish phone numbers on your phone. In fact, I use original phone, so my phone is original phone. People who are on my phone, whom I have the contact, are also original. If you are using a fake phone, it's when you have fake people in your life. I move with the unique people, so there's no way you call. You dare not to call me, to initiate me that we should go out. I don't go out. Always I'm indoors. I don't go out. So there's no way you can even call me that. The way I'll find you. In fact, I won't even. You are not even my friend because all those I have on my phone that we chat, they all know who I am. And if you misbehave, either I put you on blacklist or I block you. Yes, I don't have time for people who are not serious in life. If you fool, I see that you are going in the wayward. Oh, then I take you out. I will prune you. I'll take you out. You go to hell with your troubles. I don't have time for that. I do not accept any. If you are a Christian, you must live for Christ. I'll stop being hypocrite. That I'm a Christian and then an unbeliever will call me to go out. Even my fellow Christian person can't call me that we should go out because I am not of the world. Be careful how you walk as wise, not a fool, redeeming the time because the days are evil. Therefore, do not be foolish, but understand what the will of the Lord is. You are supposed to bring people to repentance. I've been saying that Satan will never follow you to church. The person who took you out, have you ever invited him to your church before or heard your church before? He or she will never come because he or she hates your church. To the extreme. So, if Satan won't follow you, why should you follow him to the sport or the drinking spot or to sit somewhere? Why? This is cheap popularity. This is cheap popularity. And at the end, we're going to account to God on what. Instead of you to influence the world, rather you were influenced by the world. So listen to what we are still on point D. Jesus continues, but if the salt loses its saltiness, how can it be made salty again? So it's a question. It is no longer for anything except to be thrown out and trampled by men. So by losing your saltiness is when people take you out. They are trampled, they trampled, and they are trampling on your saltiness because you are now useless. You have become completely useless. That's why they are misusing you. But if you have a salt in you, there's no way, because they are coming as bacteria, they are coming as microorganisms, even mosquitoes. When you spray the insecticide, there's no way they'll come near. Yeah, it will repel them. So also, by being salty Christian, you repel all this foolishness that you should go out. I was bored. A human being is bored. Your happiness lies in no one. Your happiness lies in nowhere. The place that you went to say can be closed. So when it is closed, those who find their happiness in television, what will they do when there's light out or when the TV has spoiled? Happiness, true and everlasting happiness, is found in the Lord. It is in the Bible. Even marriage is not a guarantee for happiness. In fact, marriage itself is trouble. Marriage itself is trouble. People are, you see, those who run helter-skelter into marriage, or they want to come back. Now it is late. That's why it is saying that you sell your freedom. You go and meet a man who is so troublesome. You go and meet a woman who is so troublesome. At times you give birth to troublesome children. And maybe you may even die due to hypertension. Marriage is not a guarantee to happiness. In case you are unaware. I face fact in life. Yes, I face fact. And I know that marriage will not give me happiness. Yes. Than the Bible. So in the modern world, our salt is highly refined and can never lose its taste. Pure salt is always salty. If you're a Christian, be pure salt. If you're a Christian, be a pure salt. Pure salt. But salt can lose its saltiness by being contaminated. Yes. By going out with them. By sitting with them. By being hypocrites. The word has contaminated you. But salt can lose its saltiness by being contaminated. When salt is mixed with foreign matter, it loses its strength and becomes useless. When salt is mixed, when you have allowed the unbelievers or even Christians, your own fellow Christians who are in the world, to take you out, to buy you drink, to go to a beach, to go to where you think you can be happy, it means you have contaminated your saltiness. And here the Bible is saying, Matthew 5 verse 13 is saying that when salt is mixed with foreign matter, it loses its strength and becomes useless. That's why they trampled on you, because it means you have become purposeless. You are of no value again. Someone whom you were supposed to be respected. You were supposed to flavor their foolish utterances. You were supposed to heal. You were supposed to be precious. Now, they see you to be nothing. And sometimes, they even try to teach you the word of God. You can imagine an unbeliever who is not teaching you the word of God. And normally, they don't quote well. They will say in the Bible, somewhere in the Bible, they will say that if you go to Rome, do what the Romans do. This is foolishness. That because I've traveled, as I said, when we went to Cape Coast, they were all writing a crab beer. So because I was there without my church members or people to see that I was there, so I should have written crab. I don't drink. I'm to hell with this your alcoholic beverages. I don't drink. Period. Of course, you can't force me to drink. So we're saying that when salt is mixed with foreign matter, it loses its strength and becomes useless. I want you to know the phrase becomes useless. You have become so useless, and they're going to they will no more respect you. Initially, you thought you were going out or you were to mingle so that you'll be appreciated. Later, they're going to depreciate you. So appreciation becomes depreciation. So in the New Testament times, most of the salt in Palestine came from the shores of the Dead Sea. So as I was saying, mine in my village, they have some, they call it wall, cemented, how do I even put it? Foundations. And then they pour the lagoon in. Then as the sun is so scorching, then it will dry. When the lagoon, being the water dries up, then the salt will come. So the salt miners were in conflict with the farmers, because as a farmer, I hate the sun. I always pray for rain. Now, if it is raining, then the salt miners will lose. Now, when it is sunny days, or the sun is so scorching, whilst my crops are being bent, then they are also gaining. So we were in conflict with each other. So here we're saying that in the New Testament times, most of the salt in Palestine came from the shores of the Dead Sea. So this one was a sea which was bringing the salt. Now this salt was deposited on the shore by wind and water. In my hometown, it was not so. they use a machine to pump the lagoon into their cemented rooms. So the sun will shine on it, so scorching. When it dries, when the water dries, then the salt will be seen. Now here it is not so. Here was being given to them by the Dead Sea through wind and water. And some of the salt that was scraped up was mixed with dirt and sand. It is true. Even the salt that is mined in my hometown, sometimes you find some dirt in. And some of the salt that was scraped up was mixed with dirt and sand. It cannot be used to flavor food. It cannot be used to preserve fish and meat. It cannot be utilized for medicinal purposes. It is harmful. It is rather harmful. So a Christian, all this I'm pointing to a Christian who side by the world, a Christian who is so a hypocrite, a Christian who is who lacks salt, a Christian who has no salt in him or her. So these are your features. It means one, you have been mixed with dirt and sand, therefore cannot be used to flavor food. It cannot be used to preserve a fish and meat. You can't be utilized for medicinal purposes. Rather, you become harmful to vegetation. So it cannot be used even as a fertilizer. It is fit for nothing. So you are fit for nothing. A Christian who mingles with the world is fit for nothing but to be thrown out on a path or road and trampled by human feet. Yes. Because you have no salt. That's why they invite you to their party. Because you have no salt. That's why they called you to go out with. Because you have no salt. That's why even though you are there, but they are happy to crack foolish jokes. Because you have no salt in you. That's why you have lost respect in the society. To gain respect is not about having money or working. It comes by the grace of God. So now we say that when the salt is mixed with sand and dirt, we mean when you compromise. These are your consequences. You can no longer flavor food, preserve fish and meat for medicinal purposes, but rather you become harmful to the vegetation and cannot be used as a fertilizer. But rather, you are fit for nothing. It means you have become useless. You become useless, and once what is no more needed, then they throw it away. I mean, to the road where people can walk on it, and then they waste it for nothing. I mean, you can imagine a salt being used to preserve, now being trampled upon. You have lost your image in society. So Jesus' point was this: if we become contaminated by the world, if we become contaminated by the world, we lose our influence for good. Our mission is seriously damaged if not destroyed. Our mission is seriously damaged if not destroyed. When you compromise our Christian values to avoid persecution, oh, me, I'm a Christian, so I'm in Rome, I'll do what the Romans are doing. So it means you have compromised your saltiness. So when you compromise our Christian values to avoid persecution, when we indulge in worldly pleasure, good, to go out, to a sport, to a beach, to sit and have a talk. Yes, when we compromise our Christian values to avoid persecution, or when we indulge in worldly pleasures to please our friends, good, to please our friends, we undermine our influence on God. We underestimate our influence on God. So we say that instead of combining corruption in society, combating corruption in society. He said when you have salt in you, you combat the corruption in society. But this one is not so. So he said that instead of combating corruption in the society, we are corrupted by it. To fulfill our purpose, we must be different from the world. Be careful how you walk as wise, not a fool, redeeming the time, because the days are evil. Therefore, do not be foolish, but understand what the will of the Lord is. The will of the Lord is that you be salt of the earth. Now, conclusion. Now, first he's saying that salt has its own distinctive flavor. Yes. A salt has its own distinctive flavor. In fact, if a Christian who is salty, wherever you are, or they see who you are, they're going to appreciate you much. There's nothing they will do without you being among. Even if you're not there, they are going to wait for you until you come. So salt has its own distinctive flavor. If it loses its salty flavor, it is no longer good for cooking or anything else. We must not adopt the world's immoral standards and distorted sense of values. You see the world. I'm saying that if you're a Christian and if you want to go out with your family, it should not be on Easter Monday. This Easter Monday has been dedicated to celebrate the worldly festivities. So if you go there, you are also equally in the world. The beach is always opened. So why should you wait and go there only on Easter Monday? Why? It should be contaminated. We must not adopt the world's immoral standards and distorted sense of values. Do not do what the Romans do. So if I want to go out with my family, even now as I'm sitting here, we can go to the beach. Because the beach is there always, not to be attended on specialized occasions. Now, upwardly, mobile people are especially susceptible to this temptation. Yes, people who think they are mobile move from one place to the other. Now, Christian evangelists can become prideful and materialistic. Of course, it is true. Nowadays, if you come to our church, most preachers are corrupt. They have also imitated, the worldly preachers. In fact, they do what they don't even do. So Christian evangelists, as I'm preaching now, can become prideful and materialistic. And some get involved in sexual immorality. Yes, of course, it is true. Many Christians are more intent on making money than they are laying up their treasures in heaven. Yes, it is true. Now Christianity has now become money making. Freedom. You have to have a car, you have to have a mobile phone, you have to have this, the room must have an air condition. Initially, I was sweating so much, so I was using a hanky to reduce the sweat. Yes, because I have a fan, but I thought that the fan would be noisy in the video until someone called and said that, I can on and then reduce the speed. That's why nowadays I don't sweat so much. But to some people, they will beg money to go and buy air conditioner. Of course, I have the cable here. There's an air conditioning cable here. So they will come to air and then they will beg. My room is so hot. And of course, you have seen that they have been sweating as they preach. It means you have become materialistic. All right. So Christian evangelists can become prideful and materialistic. And some get involved in sexual immorality. Of course, I've been saying that if you know anyone who attends Church of Christ, that person is not an angel. We are all sinners. We sin. As you being an unbeliever, you also sin. So we are all sinners. As you see me here, I am a sinner than you are. Now, many Christians are more intent on making money than they are laying up their treasures in heaven. Others habitually indulge in sinful activities. Now, go to, I think, Hebrews 10, verse 26. I don't know whether I'm true or not. I'm guessing. Hebrews 10, 26. Hebrews 10, 26. Good. Very good. Thank God. Hebrews 10, verse 26. It reads, For if we sin willfully, good. For if we sin willfully, after we have received the knowledge of the truth, there no longer remains a sacrifice for sins. That's why here he's saying that others habitually indulge in sinful activity. So we're saying that willful sins that are deliberately committed are not forgiven. So if you're a Christian and you have intentionally been misbehaving around and later you go to confess, you are wasting your time. Don't even go there. It is better to obey than sacrifice, as Samuel told King Saul. To obey is better than sacrifice. So if you sin deliberately, you are aware that this is wrong, then you did it based on a pleasure or desire, and later other times you see them confessing. I laugh at them. I laugh. I'm saying that before you say sorry, be reasonable. When you start something, calculate the outcome. If you know that you are going to apologize at the end, then you stop it. This makes you a matured person or Christian. You are always doing something without any calculation. Hey, I didn't know that this will lead him to prostitution. No. That means you don't reason. Saying sorry changes nothing. And it is more annoying that someone will foolishly do something and later will I'm sorry. I don't accept it. You make me so angry. In fact, you make me so angry that the way I'll punish you, you'll regret it. And I'll punish you in my own way. Why do you... I am not saying that when you offend, don't apologize. Of course, we all say sorry. But I'm making reference to someone who has intentionally calculated something to do it. And later we use sorry as an excuse. It's wrong. And nowadays, this is what we find with the children. They are aware that the father will not allow them out. So they will sneak to go out. Later when they come, they apologize. When you accept the apology, they have done it. We also find this in women. This is so rampant in women. Precisely the wives. They will intentionally insult the husband. They will intentionally misbehave. And later, they will kneel down, share some tears. The way this makes me angry. It makes me so angry. Then I see that you did that intentionally. Yes. That's why the Bible is saying that. For if we sin willfully, after we have received the knowledge of the truth, there no longer remains a sacrifice for sins. Be reasonable. And then calculate the possible outcome. When you begin a quarrel, or when you start some small issues, you must try to calculate the end. Then you refrain from it. That's what some people, when they see that a danger is approaching, then they run away. They are not coward, rather they are brave, because they're trying to prevent the danger from occurring. So I myself, when I'm angry, there's no way I'll speak. I won't mind you. I will not mind you. Maybe a week or a day after, then I will reply to you. Yes. All right. Now, point 2. Go to Romans 12 verse 2. Romans 12 verse 2. Romans 12 verse 2. Romans 12 verse 2. Very good. And be not conformed to this world. And be not conformed to this world, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind. But be transformed by the renewing of your mind, so that you may prove what is that good and acceptable and perfect will of God. If you go to Ephesians 5 verse 17, it's saying that, therefore do not be foolish, but understand the will of the Lord. And here also we are repeating that, so that you may prove what is that good and acceptable and perfect will of God. The will of the Lord is to do things right. Is to do what he says. Thou said the Lord. That's the will of the Lord. Thou said the Lord, or thy said the Lord. So when God speaks, you are silent. This makes you his servant, not a servant who will always war against the master. So in point 2, we say that in order to be salt of the earth, Christians must be different from the world. Very good. Now, worldliness destroys saltiness. Worldliness destroys our saltiness. So that's what we read in the Romans 12 verse 2. Now, if we buy into the rotten standards of the world, we become as rotten as the world is. If we buy into the rotten standards of the world, we become as rotten as the world is. That's why I'm saying that. How would they know that you are? Because you are all at the drunken spot. You are all there. So who will know that you are a Christian, and they will say that you are all drunkards? Now, point 3 of my conclusion. Why has God placed Christians in the world? Why is our purpose as salt of the earth? These are what you must ask yourself as a Christian. Why did God not take us to heaven immediately after we were baptized into Christ? Why? Why did he leave us in this corrupt world? The answer is plain, so transparent. He left us here to influence the world and to draw the world to him or to himself. That's all. Christ is using us to save the world. So by preaching to the lost, by living an exemplary life, by living a distinctive life, some will follow you. And one day they will ask you, which church do you attend? Always they ask me, say, please, which church? When I say Church of Christ, I say, that's why. I thought as much. It means they were anticipating that you mentioned this church. This is what God wants. My friend, when you hear of evangelism is not always about preaching the word to them. Sometimes your life, your own simple lifestyle will convert some to come and then be baptized into the Lord's church for free. You didn't even waste time to go and then convince them the Bible is saying this. No. They just observed your behavior in the society, and that's all. Please, which church do you attend? Oh, I'll follow you. At times, the women, they get prosperous marriages. They get responsible men to marry them because of the way they dress. They dress so decently. Though you are very beautiful, but you dress so decently that when they see you, unless they dig before they will see the worth of you. Of course, yesterday, one sister met me at our school's gates, and then she brought something to me. I loved her dressing so much. A gown. I mean parachute gown. Long gown. And this lady is so beautiful. By the way, she has dressed. you will not last after her. And this can attract the attention of some man who is also sensible and wants to marry a person of that nature. So even your dressing can attract customers. When I say customers, it could be people who want to be converted into a lost church, or someone who even want to marry. So maybe you are unmarried. You are dressing alone. The way you live your life as a man, then the boss of the company can marry her daughter to you based on your behavior, the way you respond to time. When you are late, you write that time. Some will go to work 10 a.m. then the person will write 8 because a closing time is 8. All these are being monitored, and one day you'll be exposed. All right. So the answer is that he left us here to influence the world and to draw the world to himself. We must be different from the world if we are to fulfill our mission. Be different, be distinctive in nature. Now the last point, then we will end. If we become contaminated by the world and lose our saltiness, we become useless in our service to God. Can you imagine this? If we become contaminated by the world and lose our saltiness, I mean, when there's no salt in you, we become useless in our... It means all what we will do will not please God. A Christian who is not salty is not Christian. That's why the word is trampling on you. You have no value. We can't use you to disinfect bacteria and microorganisms. So you have become useless. Salt is for preserving and flavoring dead meat. Salt is for preserving and flavoring dead meat. But if we become worldly, we are equally dead meat. Salt is used for preserving and flavoring dead meat. But if we become worldly, we are equally dead meat. So this is the end of salt. You are the salt of the earth. I thank you so much for making the time to join me. In fact, I've spoken a lot. And by the grace of God, I didn't know I was going to consume all these hours. In fact, it is by God's grace. Everything is given by God. So thank you for your time. I see my friend Eric, and then one sister. This sister, I don't want to mention your name. You have been doing so well. Always have been joining me. Thank you for your time. Eric, you are busy. I am surprised that you always have time to join me. And thank you so much. I'll come your way Monday. Monday is holiday. Yeah, as I said, tomorrow I'll submit an assignment and I have to do some online orientation. I think right after the orientation, I will start a second phase of my online program. As I've been saying, I'm doing an online Bible program. So tomorrow I'm done. I am almost done with the first phase of the course. So tomorrow is another phase. So by 3 a.m. I have to submit my assignments, and then I will join the orientation from 8 to 10. When we are done with the orientation, then they will upload my next course in my portal. So I will log in and then I will start it. So therefore tomorrow I will be busy. Also, I'm writing on gender equality. I will prove whether a man and woman are the same or not. I will prove it in the Bible. Galatians 3 verse 28. So therefore, that's why tomorrow I won't be here. But on Monday from 11 a.m. to this time, I will meet you with the last episode. You are the light on the earth, or of the earth. So, having said that, no one has any power to prevent you to preach the word. No one. The command was given by Christ. Matthew 28, verse 18 to 20. Mark 16, verse 15 to 16. Go, therefore. So the authority came from Christ, from Matthew 20 verse 18. So therefore we are doing it. So I don't need any permission from anybody before I come out to spread the word of God. And always I've been saying that anyone who prevents you from speaking or preaching the word becomes an antichrist. On that note, I wish you all the best, and I wish you a good new year. May God help us all so that all our requests will be answered. We pray, we hope, we trust in Him that He's going to uplift us so that next year we will not be in the same state. Thank you so much, and God bless you all. Bye bye.